Welcome to Think Fast, the channel where we dive deep into the treacherous waters of modern relationships. We're here to explore the silent killers of love, the unspoken truths that can tear a home apart, and to offer the wisdom you need to save your relationship. Today, we're retackling one of the most misunderstood and devastating betrayals: the lie of being just friends. Our story begins in the heart of with a man named Abel. By all outward appearances, Abel was a model husband. He worked hard at his job in the bustling cityscape, came home every evening to his wife, Lula, and never, not once, laid a hand on another woman. He provided, he was present, and he believed he was a good man. But every night, after Lula had drifted off to sleep, a different kind of life began for Abel. In the quiet darkness of their bedroom, illuminated only by the blue glow of his phone, his heart would leave his home. It traveled through Wi-Fi signals and encrypted messages, straight into a WhatsApp chat with just a friend. Her name was Sarah. They'd met through a work project, and their connection was instant. Sarah was sharp, witty, and seemed to grasp the pressures of his career in a way he felt Lula, who managed their home, never could. He started by sharing a minor work frustration. She responded with an understanding he craved. Soon, their chats became a daily ritual. He'd send her a photo of the sunrise from his office window. She'd send him a song that reminded her of their last conversation. "We're just soulmates," Abel would tell himself, a comforting lie to quiet the faint whisper of guilt. He convinced himself it was innocent. It was just conversation. But the lie of just friends is the most insidious poison a marriage can drink, because it enters the system drop by drop, unnoticed, until the heart is already failing. While Lula performed the traditional coffee ceremony each afternoon, a ritual of connection and family, she would often find herself staring at the empty chair beside her. She waited patiently to share her day, to talk about the little joys and worries that make up a shared life. But Abel was somewhere else. He was sharing his biggest dreams and deepest fears with Sarah. He gave Sarah the best of his mind, the most vibrant parts of his intellect and humor, leaving only the scraps of his exhaustion for his wife. He wasn't physically in another woman's bed, but he was emotionally in her head, building a second home for his heart where his wife was not welcome. This was the true betrayal, a silent theft of emotional intimacy happening right under Lula's own roof. Then came the rainy evening when the delicate veil of deception finally tore. Abel had left his phone on the coffee table while he took a shower. A notification lit up the screen. Lula, just tidying up, glanced at it without thinking. It was a message from Sarah. "I wish you were here to see the rain with me." It wasn't a confession of love or a dirty picture. It was something far worse. It was a simple, profound expression of shared intimacy, a moment that should have belonged to Lula. With a trembling hand, she unlocked the phone. Abel had never been secretive with his password before. She didn't find photos of a crime. She found a map of a heart that no longer belonged to her. Scrolling through months of conversation, she saw her husband's soul laid bare for another woman. He had told Sarah about his childhood fears, his ambitions for their children, things he had never, ever shared with her. When Abel walked out of the shower, he found Lula sitting in the dark, his phone in her lap. The confrontation was explosive, not with shouting, but with a chilling, heartbreaking quiet. Abel immediately went on the defensive, deploying the ultimate shield of the emotional cheater. "You're being crazy. We're just friends. We've never even kissed." He genuinely believed his own defense. In his mind, fidelity was purely physical. He hadn't broken his vows. Lula stood up, her face a mask of that unique Abesha pride mixed with a pain so deep it seemed to age her in an instant. She began to pack a small bag. "You didn't give her your body, Abel," she whispered, her voice cracking. "But you gave her our intimacy. You gave her the key to the private garden of our marriage. You told her things you never told me. That is a deeper theft than a one-night stand. You let another woman harvest the fruits that were meant only for me." Her words hit him harder than any accusation of a physical affair ever could. She wasn't just leaving their house. She was leaving the hollow shell of a marriage he had created. The total collapse of their life together was the brutal wake-up call Abel needed. The silence in the house was deafening. Staring at the empty chair where Lula used to sit, he finally saw the truth. An emotional affair isn't a friendship. It's a parasite. It feeds on the host relationship, draining it of nutrients like trust, intimacy, and connection, all while disguised as something harmless. In their desperation, they turn to a respected elder in their community, a wise priest from their Orthodox church. In the sunlit garden of the church courtyard, the priest didn't deliver a sermon. He listened, and then he asked Abel a simple question. "Son, would you have been comfortable showing every one of those messages to your wife from the very beginning?" Abel's silence was the answer. The priest explained that secrecy is the oxygen of an affair, both emotional and physical. If you have to hide the chat, if you have to delete the call log, if you feel a thrill that is separate from your marriage, it's not a friendship. It's a betrayal in the making. That day was the beginning of a long, painful journey back to each other. Abel had to make a choice. He cut the cord with Sarah completely and without a final goodbye. He understood that you can heal a wound while you're still holding the knife that caused it. He learned that a marriage is a garden that requires constant, dedicated watering. If you spend your time and energy watering the weeds on the other side of the fence, your own garden will wither and die. They slowly, painstakingly, began to rebuild their home on a new foundation. A single, unbreakable rule: absolute transparency. Transparency became the only cure for a wandering heart. It meant no more secret chats, no more private emotional worlds. It meant sharing everything: the good, the bad, the boring, and the beautiful. Abel handed Lula his unlocked phone, not as a sign of suspicion, but as a symbol of his commitment. It was his way of saying, "There are no more locked doors in my heart. This home, this life, this mandate, all belongs to you." Their story is a powerful reminder that the most dangerous threats to a relationship to UNT always come with loud bangs and obvious evidence. Sometimes they creep in silently, disguised as a friend, a confidant, a soulmate. But true soulmates don't require secrecy. True soulmates build a life together in the open, with honesty as their foundation. So that brings us to our question for you today. Where is the line? If your partner has to hide a chat, is it already cheating? Or is a certain level of privacy a fundamental right, even within a marriage? We want to hear what you think. Drop your opinion in the comments below. Let's start a real conversation about this. Thank you for joining us on Think Fast. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that helps us navigate the beautiful, complicated world of relationships. See you next time.